Hello, my friends. Hello, my friends. Another year of Mr. Mo equals another year of tutorials that are awesome. So let's jump right in. We're going to learn some basics in Microsoft Word today. So I'm going to open up Microsoft Word, you heard. I'm going to go here to blank document because we want a blank document. And what we are going to create today is a wanted poster. So, the first thing that we are going to go to create this wanted poster is we're going to go to not the draw, the insert, because we're going to insert something, right? And what we are going to insert is a shape, and the shape we're going to do is a line, a freeform scribble, if you will. And so I'm going to go to freeform scribble, and I am going to scribble, not really scribble, but kind of draw some jagged edges here on the outline of my document, because we are created a wanted poster, and a lot of times those wanted posters were like torn little sheets of paper. You know, back in the day they had the wanted posters, back in the olden days, like in the early 80s, in the old west. And so I get back to the beginning and it creates my little cutout, which I think looks kind of dumb in blue. So we don't want it to be blue. So what we're going to do, and we're going to do this a lot, is we're going to go here to this shape fill, and we're going to say no to fill. So, you know, ladies, imagine there's this guy named Phil asking you out, and you don't want to go out with Phil, so you say no to Phil. I'm going to go to the shape outline here, and we're going to make it a black outline, because I think the black outline looks pretty good. But now what we need to do is fill in this, so it's not, you know, this white looking deal. And so what I like to do, actually, instead of saying no to fill, my bad, we're going to go to texture. No to fill will come later. And so we go to our texture, and I think either the parchment or the stationery, just kind of depends on which one you like best, is what we'll go with. And so now we have the backdrop of our wanted poster. I also want to show you this down here, because if some of you are looking at yours and you're at like 100%, you can't see the whole thing. And so this zoom will come in handy. And so you may want to start by zooming out like I did so you can see your whole document. Okay? Now what we're going to do is we are going to write wanted on here, right? Because, you know, our person here is wanted. And so what we're going to do is insert a text box. And so I like inserting text boxes. Text boxes are your best friends because they let you manipulate the text in Word very easily and move it all around. So I'm going to go here and draw this text box. And we can mess with the size of it later. And then I'm going to go back to my home key because I'm going to type wanted. So I want to look for a font that I think looks kind of cool and looks like it might have been used back in the day. I think this Castellar, I don't know how to say that, or like Algerian or algae, whatever. We're going to go with the old algae here. And I'm going to type in wanted. And do not interrupt me. Ooh, donuts. That sounds good. Anyway, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but they just offered donuts on the loudspeaker, so I may have to leave and go get a donut. All right, anyway, I'm going to highlight this, and I want to make it bigger. So I like to just go to this A that makes things bigger. I want to also center it, and we want wanted to be nice and big. So I've got wanted on there. This white box looks dumb, and here's where, ladies, we are going to say no to fill. So we click on this. You can go up here to Format and Shape Fill, and we are going to say no to fill, and that makes it clear or see-through. Phil has a friend named Outline, which is weird. He likes you too, and you say no to Outline as well, because that's a weird name. So you say no to Outline, and so now we've got this wanted thing, and it's in our text box, so we can move it wherever we want. We want it towards the top, though. The next thing we're going to do is make a line, right? And we already kind of did that with Insert Shapes, and we went to the freeform line. This time we're just going to do a straight line. And so we're going to come here and draw a straight line, because a lot of these wanted posters have like these random lines at the top, so that's what we're going to do. This line is blue, which we don't want, so I'm going to click back on that line. And I like to, you can either go up here to Format, or what I like to do is right click and go to Format Shape, and then this box pops up over here. We want the color of our line to be a solid black, and then the width, we want it to be thicker. So I don't really care how thick you make it, but you'll want a kind of a thick line so we can see it. You can go here and choose your line type. I like that little double line feature. You can put a little notch on the end of it if you want. And so I'm going to put these notches on the end of the line. So now I've got this line at the top, and this just makes it look, I don't know, a little neater, I guess. So I've got this line up here, and I'm going to want a line at the bottom too. So I'm going to go ahead and right-click copy, right-click paste, and bring this one down here for later. Okay, so I've got that. Now we want to know who is wanted, so we're going to do another text box. So I'm going to go to Insert, Text Box. I'm going to go to Draw Text Box, and I'm going to put this in here. And again, we can adjust the size later. Go back to Home, and I'm going to mess with the font that I want, and you can use whatever you want. I'm going to stick with the Algerian. And so what is wanted is me, right? And if some of you guys know, I go by my middle name, so I'm listing John Scott on there. And then a lot of times these wanted people had aliases, right? So you can come up with a fun alias, right? My alias, if I can spell it correctly, is just going to be, you usually put the alias in quotes, is just going to be Mr. Mo, right? So I've got myself wanted, and my alias, Mr. Mo. I'm going to center that. I'm going to make it bigger. You don't want it to be as big as the wanted. And then what I am going to do is I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to make my font a little bit smaller and talk about why I'm wanted. Wanted for telling bad jokes and randomly farting in public. So that is why I am wanted. Gosh, so terrible. Who farts in public? So I have that. Again, it doesn't look very good. So we are going to we're going to right click on it, right? Format shape. And you can say no to line. And go to fill and say no to fill as well. So we've said no to line. We've said no to fill. Now what we need, and I'm going to put it up there, is a picture. And I'm sure I have a weird picture of myself somewhere on here. So you can either take a picture with your computer. You can go find a picture. It's up to you. I've drug my picture in. It doesn't look like it went in there, but it did. I have to move this out of the way. And pictures are always weird in Microsoft Word, which is kind of annoying. So if you go here, that pops up. You can go to Layout Options, or you can just go to Format and go to Position. And I like to just do this. Position in the middle, right? So now that puts my picture in the middle. And if I click off of everything, now I have access and I can move my picture about, wherever I want. Okay. So that's kind of how you can move that around. Now with this, maybe I want my parchment type thing, my brown background to be bigger. You can go to the edge of that and stretch that to have it bigger, be bigger if you need more room. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert another text box because I need a reward down here. So I'm going to go to Insert, Text Box, and I'm going to draw another text box. Okay. And so I go to draw this text box, and then what I'm going to do in this text box is put my reward. So a whopping $15 reward is what I'm going to put on my head. And again, I might go back to home here and make it like that, and then make it bigger because you want the reward to be nice and big. And I'm going to go ahead and center that, and we'll go with that for my reward. We'll keep it like that. Then again, we want to adjust the text box. So I'm going to right click, Format Shape. We're going to say no to fill, no to line, right? And then I am even going to come down here. I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to make the font much smaller. And a lot of times these wanted people will have accomplices, right? And so I am going to type in like known accomplices. I hope I spelled that right. And then I would just list who my accomplices are. I'm actually going to make that even smaller. And so my accomplices are Mr. Sheriff, Mr. Brown, Davis, and Benny the Kid. Okay, and again, I can stretch this text box out wider if I want that to all be on one line, right? And so when I'm done, I have something that looks somewhat like a wanted poster. I don't know why it's all shaded like this. But anyway, when I'm done, I have something that looks like a wanted poster, and you are good to go. And so what you are to do now is to save it, right? And so to save it, you're going to come up here to File, and you're going to go to Save As. Okay, you will double click on this PC, and then go find your folder, wherever your folder is. If it's on your desktop, like mine, 7th grade stuff, I would put it there. I'm going to type in Mo wanted poster and hit save. And once you've done that, you, my friends, are good to go. So thank you for bearing with me for another tutorial, and please don't pass gas in public.